I couldn't let go of my son. I thought silence could keep Hespar out of this world's evil, that by being ignorant of my family's legacy he wouldn't inherit it. But in doing so, I failed my child. Death consumed him, and once again, I was left with nothing but my regrets. Regrets can push men farther than wrath does. A mother's grief is one which prevails over any value and faith. I began learning necromancy against Gillette's wish. People condemn this to be a betrayal to nature, but why did it matter if I am already a traitor? Gillette eventually left my side, failing to convince me out of necromancy. Easy for him to be moral when it wasn't him that got our son killed. In the end, I found the Slode offered me a world where I shall be free and safe. Promises of the Empire's downfall and my son's return. And so the outcasts of the world work together to bring the champions down, and I once again embraced my fate. The Empire needed its villains just as the champions needed their traitors, for it was from those villains the victors defined what was evil. If I win, I have my son again, and the cycle of champions and traitors will finally be sealed. I gathered individuals of great promise, made them acolytes of the Lord of Death. They are the vessels of his plague who spread it to the unknowing. When all has been set for his plan, he gave me a choice of where death shall begin its consumption of this world. The Imperial city, seat of an empire that makes traitors out of patriots. Coral, home to that champion whose honor is built upon others' dishonor. They were the reason my family has suffered so. If I unleashed the plague in these cities, then my vengeance would have been completed. But I looked back on my paths of the choices I've made, the homes I've had. I was once a girl seeking safety and warmth, relying on her family for hope. All this while, I have never changed. I have always hoped for peace. Hope is what made me. The hope for peace, for freedom, for justice, for my son. I hoped for peace, yet the warmongers who profit from conflict would not cease until every home of the enemies in their eyes lies in ashes. I hoped for safety, yet in a world driven by the order the heroes have forged, villains are permitted to none but death. I hoped for justice, yet it was never meant to stand on a traitor's side. For what is just to me is injustice to all who profit from the god's plan. My son was my final, most beautiful hope. Then he stopped to be, taken by a champion and his soldier. Then I remembered my brother's girl. His hope. Was she not to be the new start for our family? Away from that burning, painful past. A new start. A land of hope, where crops could grow on what was barren. Then it all ended in a burning and collapsing cellar. Traitors are not made by the champions, but by those who believe in and benefit from them. Once my family has been branded, our legacy was sealed. The people of that village listen to the champions, just like all who live under the light. As the sheep let the shepherd into the field, to exterminate the dogs which they thought were wolves. The dog who survived shall come back to the field, infest the sheep with diseases, spread to the shepherd, and to his other fields. I went to the village, prepared to meet my destiny. As if it had been fated, I was found by Gillette on my way. He begged me to forget Hespar and my revenge, to sail with him to Atmora, start again, away from the champions and the plague. I realized that even without hope, love remained by my side. It was my strength, my drive, my home. But I was already blessed with the Lord of Death's power. Love stood before me, yet death has consumed it long ago.
Let's bring the fight to the wicked. Of course. I'm Prefect Livia Salvian. I'm on your side. Your fate is sealed.
On God!
Bored of you yet. You're done plaguing this place. Come to your senses, because I'm with the Empire. Face my justice. Face justice, wicked being. Why are you fighting? I'm from the Legion too. I'll defend her.
To Ethereum! Down to the traitor! For the true
Made me your enemy. Let's have his meaningless.
fire on that trickster! The legend has commanded it! The Empire rises! Killed!
You call this an attack?
Never should have come here. That's it! Then we can return! mischief. Avenge our ancestors. Kill her. She is holding us in prison. Someone there? The Empire rises from the eagle's ass.
That was unnecessary.
Prefect. Aren't you the timely observer?
The mistress. Ugh, curse this! How do we enter the barrier?
The traitor in her grave. Death does consume all, even its own arch-acolyte. Was I right, Aunt?
Suzanne, you've come too late. The ritual has been completed and the Slode is on his way.
No, Marlene, my aunt. You will die regardless. You, on the other hand, are what I came for. You are the last trace to my legacy as a Dubois, the final evidence of my mortal weakness. If you live, I can never become what I need to be.
You've become the man who murdered your parents.
I did, but not for his reason. If you find solace in this, and I hope you do, your son was always supposed to die. That was his fate, and I was merely the one to flip his page. Salvian will go after you. He is an obstacle to our master's plan as much as the slaves.
May the gods
What?
protect you.
The slave is an iron sorceress. The skill, the power left behind by the goddess queen of the Elder Throne. Then he will die before such desecration should take place.
You disruption to nature.
Your
That's
hope is
not
what kept you
tolerated.
staying.
Rat.
But in truth, death has consumed you since the day you were born in Goodbye.
Justice! Dubois.
Each champion completes a chapter in the saga. At last.
Is this how I must treat you? The champion slays the traitor and owns for herself eternal glory.
You. Our world honors heroes, brave men and women who vanquish the evil villains, protect the weak from the vengeful monsters, and maintain order. Heroes founded the Empire, and so the Empire is one that rewards its heroes by making them chancellors, lords, generals, the champions. People fantasize heroes to be men of virtue, who value not power nor gold. Yet when a hero is rewarded with such, what would a man not do to become one? Sometimes, villains pave ways for heroes to emerge. Other times, men make a monster out of one another, just to defeat it and to become heroes. When honor is associated with gold and power, men of greed will naturally conquer those of virtue, for survival has always been above empty codes. As long as men continue their quest for fame and their struggle for power, heroes and champions will continue to rise in service to the Empire. And the legacies of the traitors will therefore never, never cease.
This is Aranisaurus. Oh. So cold. Is this death? Regardless of virtue, ignorant, just as consuming all without indifference. Against all whose blood is warm.
Fools! Fus! Fus!